Welcome to the 28 Stitches devotional channel. I really hope that today's devotional can be a source of encouragement for you and just aid you in your quiet time as you strive to know God better and go deeper into His Word. Today's devotional is centered around one word or practice in the Christian faith that has been extremely personal for me over the last couple of years, and that's centered around asking. So it's actually based off of the verse that's in this frame up here, is one of the scriptures that we're going to be connecting to today's devotional. So I was really excited for this particular devotional. Asking God for what we need. It seems simple, but for me, I know I overcomplicate it pretty much every day. The Bible is very clear about the power of asking, as we can learn in today's primary scripture, Joshua 1:9. This is my command, be strong and courageous. Never be afraid or discouraged, because I am your God, the Eternal One, and I will remain with you wherever you go. Be bold in what you ask for from the Lord. He wants you to turn to Him for provision. He wants to sustain you. He wants to be the one that you turn to before you're facing a trial or a storm. Scripture even tells us in James, have not because you ask not. For me, it's more of a matter of striving. I don't necessarily go to God immediately for things. Instead, I see what I can work out for myself first. And then it's like whatever's left or whatever I haven't been able to do, then I will approach God. But He wants us to go and ask Him first. James again says, have not because you ask not. It comes down to a matter of striving, me personally striving, trying to do it myself, versus surrendering to God, asking Him for help, asking Him to lend His grace, and even asking for His rest in a situation, in a trial or a storm. Ironically, I see faith-based asking as a question. So if you had to sum up what the practice of asking looks like in the Christian faith, I really believe that it comes down to this. Are you going to continue to strive, or are you going to surrender? And then this was the scripture that I had mentioned earlier that's right up here on the wall. Matthew 7, verses 7 through 8. Ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and the door will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and to the one who knocks the door will be opened. You ask not because God doesn't already know what you need, but because it's a humble acknowledgement of who God is and what you believe He can do and will do to provide for your life. Who is in the driver's seat? God is not a genie in a bottle. So just because you ask for something, it's not casting a wish, it's not a one of three wishes, it's not a situation like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to receive it. You want to make sure that what you're asking for aligns with His will. And then once you do that, once you're in alignment with the Lord's will, you have to be able to keep your eyes open to seek His answer, His response. This was a point that was made out to me last year about me presenting my requests, presenting my desires to God, and someone courageously asked me, are you seeking the answers? Are you looking for the Lord to answer? That wasn't something that I'd ever really thought about. But I just want to pause so you can try to understand the depth of asking and seeking. How many times do you ask for something and close your eyes? And I think a practical way of looking at that is, how many times do you ask for something and then you just continue on going about to the next thing, maybe consistently asking over and over again, but never actually turning to the seeking portion of the version of looking for God to show up and respond to what you've asked for. You have to keep your eyes open after asking and seek God's response. You have to keep your heart in tune with the Spirit after asking, to be able to receive and discern how the Spirit may be moving you or answering you. I think another practical thing that this looks like comes back to abiding. After asking, being able to sit quietly with Jesus and just sit and listen for guidance or direction or whatever the Lord may have for you in that particular moment. The other piece of asking worth mentioning is you have to ask with the right motives. Your motives are always transparent before the Lord. So even if you believe your motives are clear and intentional, God knows your heart. God knows the real reason why you're asking or presenting anything to Him. There's no way to hide your heart before Him. Because James goes on to say, when you ask, you do not receive, because you ask with wrong motives, that you may spend what you get on your pleasures. That particular situation is referencing money, but I believe it holds true for other things that we're asking for, is the intentionality of what is our motive? Why are we asking God for whatever it is that we're asking Him for? What is the motive? Make sure that you're asking with a clear conscience and a clear heart before the Lord with the right motives, and then watch how He will move and show up in your life. The challenge today is to be bold and live out Matthew 7:7-8. What do you need to ask God for? Ask God for what you need and believe that He is going to show up and provide for you, sustain you, and encourage you, because He will.